Okay, my friends, we have three big stories from three different countries, and they all affect Ukraine in a significant way. All right, first, here's Israel's top military spokesperson, Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, confirmed that Israel has concluded its response to Iran by conducting precise strikes on military targets overnight. Iran says the Israeli attacks were intercepted, causing limited damage. Now, I talked about this in my live stream today, but if Iran sends these missiles and then Israel decides, oh, I'm just going to be nice, we're not going to respond at all, it's only provoking Iran to do more and more. If Iran does this and Israel sends a equal response that targets something somewhere and it's even, then it actually settles things down. If Iran does this thing and then Israel has this huge overreaction, well, then that provokes a more of aggressive reaction. So what Iran did was one thing, and what Israel did was balance it. Okay, that's how you should frame what's happened today. Okay, so what did they hit? Well, first, 4 of the pilots were Israeli females who carried out the attack. Now, John Spencer, who's the foremost authority on urban warfare in the world from West Point, talked about this in saying, Israel defends itself in a constrained precision strike campaign against military assets used to attack them twice. The escalations, reckless acts of the Islamic regime in Iran. And Antonio Guterres condemns Israel after he gets back from meeting with Putin, who has an ICC warrant for his arrest and continues his war of conquest in Ukraine. What a shame. Okay, but that's the news. That's what's actually happening. Okay, second big story. Let's look at Georgia. Georgia is holding its parliamentary elections today. 18 parties are competing for seats in parliament. The Georgian elections have been described as crucial, as Georgians will decide whether to join the EU or Russia. Okay, so we know that that's happening. Now, here's Igor Shushko posting this video. Parliamentary election in Georgia looks legit. Another European nation trying to free itself from Russian control. And we're just going to, like, he's stuffing the ballots in front of the old man that's supposed to be stopping it. And apparently the guy that was filming this got taken out and beat up, according to another source. But yeah, I mean, it's blatant. It's right there. Okay. Here is RT's take on this. One of RT's British employees in Tbilisi telling us, this is Che Baus, telling us everything's okay with Russia's takeover of Georgia. And here we are. Let's just see him for a little bit.
Standing here in Freedom Square in the center of Tbilisi in Georgia. Georgia, a country of less than 4 million people in the South Caucasus. Many, many thousands of kilometers away from Washington and Brussels, but as the Georgian Dream Party, the biggest party here, been in power since 2012, they face off now against this United National Movement, which is a very loose coalition of numerous much smaller parties. This election has become important in faraway places, it seems, with the American government suggesting even Russian and Chinese involvement. But I can tell you, in the hotel that we're staying in and on the streets here, I hear Australian voices, British voices, American voices, plenty of them, some saying that they're observers here. I don't hear any Chinese and very few Russian in any official capacity.
Yes, it has become important, and it's important because this should not be happening. Georgia is trying to choose its own path, and there shouldn't be any contaminating of the actual ballots, and that this should be held sacred.
So it seems to me as if this is a little bit of hypocrisy, dare I say it, coming from the West. Let's have a little listen to what they had to say.
The United States, along with our colleagues in Europe, have long, strong, and steadfast friends to the people of Georgia. Unfortunately, this powerful bond has recently come under the withering attack by the ruling Georgian Dream Party. The Georgian Dream government has openly renounced the long-standing democratic and Euro-Atlantic choice of the Georgian people, ramming a Putin-esque style foreign agent law through parliament. This law is openly intended to stigmatize and undermine the nation's independent civil society. Georgian Dream is also expanding its ties with the Chinese Communist Party, rapidly and handing over key infrastructure to the People's Liberation Army military-linked companies is another aspect of its dictatorial turn. The United States must not allow this attack on Georgian democracy and its Euro Atlantic future to go unanswered.
It's very interesting when they mention, very draconian laws about foreign agents. The United States has had a Foreign Agents Registration Act for decades.
But it was nothing like what this is, and this is used to clamp down on things. And that was Joe Wilson. Joe Wilson is a Republican from South Carolina, I believe, that was talking about how bad this was with what they were doing. But it's comparing apples and oranges to say that the U.S. has this as well, but the U.S. doesn't use this to persecute you.
United States, and particularly Antony Blinken, so angry, it seems, and unhappy that Georgia is passing laws which defend its sovereignty. And essentially the Georgia law, the foreign agents...
But that's not what it does. It's not laws that defend its sovereignty. It's laws used to persecute minorities who are trying to come to power when... that the Georgian Dream Party does not like.
Or the same Georgian version of it, brought to the parliament by Georgian Dream, is essentially a Georgian version of that very same law. So again...
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. If you compare the two, the realities of those two bills, they're nothing like each other. It's like when Americans in the United States talk about traditional values, that's a world apart from Russia's traditional values. They're nothing that's like each other. Okay, let's keep going. More epic level election fraud. Look at this video. This is what they've actually filmed here. Kremlin-backed Georgian Dream Party they're given 2 ballots. Huh, how about that? Well, that's different. So there's election fraud going on, and it seems pretty rife. Okay, and tonight, when the Russian-backed regime counts the votes and tells the country they lost, Georgians need to know that no Russian troops are coming this time. They're all busy becoming worm food in Ukraine. This is the turnout in Georgia. Okay. The FBI, turning our attention to big story number 3, the FBI now catches Russians producing fake videos to sow chaos in Pennsylvania. And here's the dni.gov website. So here it is. This is the actual website. Press release for immediate release, joint ODNI, FBI, and CISA statement. The IC assesses that Russian actors manufactured and amplified a recent video that falsely depicted an individual ripping up ballots in Pennsylvania. Judging from information available to the IC and prior activities of other Russian influence actors, including videos and other disinformation activities, local election officials have already debunked the video's content. This Russian activity is part of Moscow's broader effort to raise unfounded questions about the integrity of U.S. election and stoke divisions among Americans. Okay, so let's look at that video in just a second. Again, here in the AP, talking about the same thing. Russian actors made a widely circulated video falsely depicting mail-in ballots for Trump being destroyed in Pennsylvania. Here is CBS News talking about this very thing.
A video circulating on social media purporting to show a Pennsylvania election worker ripping up ballots is fake. This video, posted Thursday, has already been viewed hundreds of thousands of times, and in it, a faceless man is seen opening what appears to be ballots from Bucks County voting for former President Donald Trump and then destroying them. But our CBS News Confirmed team was able to trace the video to an anonymous account that has a history of sharing Russian disinformation. The Bucks County Board of Elections issued a bipartisan statement confirming that the video is fake, saying, quote, "This type of behavior is meant to sow division and distrust in our election systems and makes a mockery of the people working incredibly hard to ensure a free and fair election is carried out." CBS News Confirmed executive producer Melissa Matani joins me now. Melissa, this is not only the fake video of the moment, it is a precursor to more to come. We have seen so many of them regarding this election.
Misinformation and disinformation only works if we share it. So the best thing you can do is pause. Take a second and evaluate what's in front of you, and then run through this quick checklist in your mind. Is it from a trustworthy source of credible, reliable information? If you're not sure, jump off social media and Google it. Cross-check your information. See what other news outlets are saying. Check the date. Oftentimes, old information is shared as if it were new, and this is really problematic on social media because people only read the headlines and they don't click into it, and context is key. You need to read the full article. The who, how, where changes the meaning of everything. For example, a partial quote in a headline saying, "I'm rich," is very different to a full quote in an article saying, I may have no money, but I'm rich in other things, right?
Totally different meaning.
Totally. And then finally, check your emotions. We are at the end of a very spirited, very divisive political campaign. People are sharing things trying to provoke a reaction from you. They want to spark anger. They want to spark outrage to make you donate or to act in a certain way. So take a second, pause, evaluate, verify.
Well,
Okay, so that's a really good list. And so let's go back just a little bit and look at this. Check the source, cross-check the information, check the date, make sure it's not old, check the location, and check your emotions. But like I saw something today that I decided not to put up because I didn't want to embarrass the person. That politically they're on the other side from me and it would look like some kind of an attack, and it wasn't meant to be. But they said, well, this shouldn't be happening. But this that they said shouldn't be happening was a misunderstanding of what was actually happening that would have given the person a black eye. I ultimately decided not to share that, but that would have been an example of misinformation. They said this was one thing when it was actually just the opposite. Okay, but that could spread very easily. I happened to check. Now, disinformation is different, and that's what's going on in this video here, where what they're actually creating is something that's disinformation, making something up, and we got to be on guard against that as well. All right, my friends, those are the three big stories for today. Thank you for your time, the shares, the likes, the subscribes. I appreciate all of that. Thank you more than anything for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.